Hi everyone, Ronnie Rowe here with Ronnie Rowe Designs. Like to welcome you again this week for another short preview of some of my designs that I've been doing for the 2022 Needlework Expo, which we're into the second day of right now. And just finished up a couple hours ago. Right after the show, they had a small happy hour online and got to see a lot of the old designers I haven't seen in a long time, and of course some new designers in the business. But really had a good time with that. The expo was run very well, and I think everyone that was in it and that participated in it, and all the vendors, distributors that came, were really excited about the whole event. I think it was really good for the cross stitch industry, not only for the designers but also for the shops and the people that run shops online. A lot of the shops running online shops with Etsy, Shopify, and other, and even Amazon. So those people got a lot out of the expo, and I think it was a well received. And like I say, I'm looking forward to it again next year. Like I say, I wanted to feature some of my designs for the expo. And last week I did one on the lock. This week I'm doing As Time Flies. As Time Flies is a pretty simple design. It's not complicated. It's a multitude of colors, but everything you see in the white on there is actually the material. Again, I stitch everything on 18 count white Haida, and it's what I've been using for years, and I guess that's what I'll continue to do. Somebody asked me how I came up with a name or or a design. How do you come up with something? Well, you get it from various places. You get it from pictures that you might take while you're on vacation, or you might see a picture in a magazine, or anything that's something you think it would look good in cross stitch. This is interesting because I have to credit a stand-up comedian named George Carlin for this. I really did. This fan I've been working on for a long time. It just recently come out, something I've worked on for a while now. And the reason I say George Carlin, credit him, he did a routine sometime back about how people use words and how we use phrases in this country. And one he came up with was, well, the country's going down the tubes. Well, what does it mean going down the tubes? I mean, where are the tubes? What do we do? What are tubes? Another one he came up with was as time flies. Well, does time fly? I mean, that's something we say all the time. Well, as time flies. Well, anyway, I took that and I thought about it at the time and I said, I'm going to do something with time flying. And how do you make time fly? Well, in my mind, I wanted to take a clock, whether it be a one on the wall or whether a grandfather clock, or I kept thinking about what kind of clock do I want to see. And then finally, I came up with a pocket watch. An old pocket watch would look good. So I took that old pocket watch, put some Roman numerals in it and some other stuff around it to make it look like a pocket watch, and blew the back of it out so that what you see right here is a bunch of clock parts and pieces of clock, and really doesn't have a lot of detail, but it's not supposed to. It's supposed to give the illusion of of a clock being blown out, or as time flies. And so I did something to the bottom. I did a reflection of the clock. It really isn't a true reflection of this particular watch, but it gave that illusion. And over this side here, I'm not really sure what that is. That's something I just put in to kind of balance out the whole design. And I've done that on a lot of my designs, and people have come back and asked me, hey, what is that? I said, I don't know. It's just something I put in to balance it out. It kind of look good, look artistic in a way. So that's what I did. So anyway, as time flies, that's how it came about. And I enjoyed stitching it. Like I say, it's a pretty easy stitch. It's not complicated, doesn't have a whole lot of colors, but once it's framed up, it looks pretty good. And what I would do, I frame a lot of my stuff in a metal frame, a silver metal frame with just white matting. And I've always thought that that turned out really well. Um, one of the questions I got this week was, how can we start a business? How do you start a cross stitch business? Well, that's a hard thing for me to tell anyone to how to do, because the way I got cross stitch was really just by accident. I was just sitting there watching television, and my wife was cross stitching. This is years and years ago, and told me to try it. And I didn't want to try it, but I did, and ended up going getting some cross stitch books, cross stitching them, and building some frames, framed them. And it looked all right, but I was using other people's designs and just cross stitching. And it occurred to me, why can't I do the same thing? What's so unique that I can't do something like this? And so I thought I'd try it. And one advantage I had was I had a lot of cross stitch shops. I'm about 12, 15 miles from Colonial Williamsburg. And so they had a lot of shops up there. And so I decided to try, and I went up and took some pictures of some buildings. That's my original designs that I did for Colonial Williamsburg. And took the pictures, went up to Williamsburg, had some printed, made up, really rustic looking designs, and went up in a lot of places, liked them and bought them and ordered more. And that's really the way I got started in the business. But it's very difficult now because a lot of people are into it. A lot of people come up with beautiful designs. The computers made it so much easier to do things. And but there's so many people trying to get into it. Well, and again, really good looking designs. But the problem in any business like this, where you're selling patterns or you're selling a piece of material and everything, is distribution. You got to have a distribution outlet, and that's really the key to it, I believe. And they've got a lot. They got several really big distributing companies in the United States, around the world, and if you got in with one of them, that would certainly be a help. But it's hard to do. It's hard to get into it, but keep trying. You never know. There are people doing it every day. They go to Nashville, they get in these big markets, they take their designs, print them up, and go there. And if one of these big distributors see you and want to distribute for you, then that's a win-win for you, the way I look at it. So, but anyway, that was one question I got this week. One of the questions I got, how do I stitch? I've got just a regular little old hoop, just like you do probably. And I sit down with my piece of white material, and I've got it all marked off in 10 by 10 squares. And I just start stitching and keeping track of what I'm doing. Using that, and also my computer. What I'm doing on the computer, I'm using actually four different programs on a Macintosh to create what I'm doing. I'm using a Keynote, and that's probably the last one I used to put everything together to publish. And Keynote is a program very similar to PowerPoint with PC people. The other two programs I'm using is one called GIF Converter, and two fairly new programs are out. One is Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. And both of these programs allow you to do a lot of different things with various designs, and which you have previously sketched out and put into your computer by means of a scanner. And they allow you to do lots of things to them. And you can figure out grids and patterns and all of that. So, and various layers that you operate. But that takes a considerable amount of time to understand how these programs are really working and what they're doing in relationship to what you're trying to do to come up with a design. So, but anyway, that's the way I've been doing it. So, the other thing I'll tell you, I talked to the folks at the expo, and starting this week sometime, I'm going to start putting these designs out on Etsy at Ronnie Rowe Designs at Etsy. I'm going to do that. They're going to be new. I'm going to be charging the same thing the shops would charge for these designs, but I'm going to give free shipping on them. Any of these new designs will have free shipping. So look out for those. They'll be there. I know I'm going to have the one last week, lock, and I'll have this one as time flies, baseball, and all the other ones I've come out with for this year. So keep in touch and keep the letters coming. And anyway, I hope each and every one of you have a great, wonderful, and safe week. Keep stitching and talk to you next week. Bye.